Hello, everyone, and welcome to another round of CommerceIQ's Retail News Roundup. I'm Timothy Campbell, CommerceIQ's head of retail industry insights, and today we have another 4 articles for you to understand the week in the world of retail e-commerce and the industry. And actually, because of Martin Luther King Day and a few other things at CommerceIQ, this is actually the first edition of the new year. So welcome back, and let's get into it. I'll just share my screen here. And if you're interested in any of these 4 articles that we're going over today, you just check the links off to the side on the right-hand side, and you should be under the event. You should be able to see the articles and be able to read them yourself if you want to. So the first article here is from CNBC, and it's holiday retail sales tanked, but trucking data shows e-commerce wasn't the issue. And this really reinforces, I like this article because it reinforces a narrative that we've been talking a lot at CommerceIQ, and that is that, e-commerce isn't going anywhere, right? In some sense, it could be the case, looking back historically, that December was kind of the month that consumer confidence and consumer spending faltered, but it wasn't the fault of e-commerce, right? E-commerce still grew significantly, and this according to this data here, about 9.5% during the whole holiday season, and kind of had strength throughout. So online outperforming in-store sales, despite the talk of the death of or not the death, but the slowdown of e-commerce. E-commerce actually doing better than in-store for much of the holiday season. And if you see that number right there, this is this graph here. This is great because it shows retail inventories over time, and you can see that huge spike in 2022. So another takeaway from this is that inventory issues kind of received a lot of focus in really 2020, end of 2020. In 2021 and 2022, also the case. Huge inventories kind of surging up, kind of the reverse issue, where you had consumer spending drop, be weaker, but again, a lot of that attributed actually to store sales versus online sales. So kind of a good overview of what's happening here, and a good look at that. The second article here is Supermarket News, and it's called Grocery E-commerce Sales Jumped 2.4% in December. So data taken from a different source, but still positive e-commerce performance. E-commerce doing quite well. I would say heading into the new year in an interesting position, where on one hand you have tailwinds of inflation and maybe shaky consumer confidence, but headwinds of shaky consumer confidence and inflation, but tailwinds, some benefits of just overall persistently strong e-commerce growth when it comes to compared to retail as a whole, and that includes online grocery. And this gets at a lot of that. The one watch out here that I would say for online grocery present in this data is that the amount of shoppers who intend to purchase online grocery again dropped a few percentage points. The third article here is taken from Engadget, and it gets at the layoffs announced at the start of the new year, particularly Amazon's drone delivery division. Was reportedly hit hard by layoffs. And of course, in the past, we've heard how their Alexa division was hard hurt, or how their store division to some extent was hard hurt, when they shuttered a lot of their different store formats. And this is kind of the latest of it. Amazon previously announced that they were going to lay off 10,000 employees. That's actually about 18. Now it's closer to 18,000 workers, and that they're kind of laying off in stages. And it's hit their drone division too. And of course, their drone division has been something that's been in the works for basically 10 years now. Since I think Jeff Bezos announced it in 60 Minutes and back in 2013. They actually had only just started running tests and proper, not even tests, but proper deliveries just a few weeks ago. And now, just a few weeks after they finally started these tests, they're laying off significant number of employees on their in the division. So interesting to see, where else these divisions hurt, or where they hit, who they hurt, and who gets laid off. But kind of an expansion in the number of layoffs from what was thought late last year. The last article here is taken from Digital Commerce 360, and it's entitled "UK Retailers Worst Year Ever Shows Inflation's Effects." And this is taken from Bloomberg News, reposted from Bloomberg News as well. UK retail sales fell almost 6% from a year ago. When you combine that with exceptionally high inflation at about 13%, what that means is, the UK from a economic and retail standpoint is certainly not doing as well as, say, the US, for instance. And, there's a worry that maybe the US could be headed for some of that, though I do believe the situation such as, or factors caused by Brexit and some other factors, when you think of the kind of, it's abating now somewhat, but the energy crisis that was really the case for much of 22, as a lot of Europe was shifting their gas, from their source of gas away from Russia. Those all kind of combine to hit Europe and the UK in particular harder than the US in many instances. So interesting to see what future results will hold. But right now, UK is essentially in a recession. I would say they're in a recession, and they're seeing declining retail sales in the face of extreme inflation as well. So good to keep a pulse on that. But yeah, that wraps us up for I think the 4 articles you need to know to understand the state of retail, e-commerce, and the economy. So give those articles a read, and we will be back. We'll be back next week to share the 4 articles you need to know for the next week. So yeah, please check those out. And if you're interested, also if you check out our Commerce IQ LinkedIn page, you'll also see that this week and 2 days from now we have a webinar on dealing with chargebacks at Amazon. So check that out. Check out some of the posts on our Commerce IQ LinkedIn page. You'll see those there, and through that you can register. So just check that out if you're interested. If you have anything to do with chargebacks, this will be a relevant retailer for you. Relevant webinar for you. We talk about retailers like Amazon and Walmart. And I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will present to you later. Bye for now.